Hi, if you're familiar with the videos that I've previously done, you know that the purpose of my video is to capture my mistakes and learning curve on moving from a Visual Basic and Visual Basic for application with Minitab, statistical analysis in the R&M community over to the F Sharp and R community, trying to leverage off of some of the machine learning and things going on in the F Sharp and R. So what you see before you right now is how I would typically get data into a system. So Visual Basic, connectors, adapters, data tables, or I would go into data records if I uh, records for Visual Basic for application, excuse me. So so this very straightforward, something I'm familiar with doing. In the console, it's just going to go out, so I can grab that out of the database, write it to the right line, close it all up. Okay, so I tried to do this with F Sharp following this kind of structure, the traditional structure, opening up a connection and creating data, feeding it in. I ran into some problems. If you know this video, you're familiar with this. This data doesn't come out of a database. This comes off of the web, and the speaker here shows some very adept abilities to be able to manipulate his data quite quickly into something he could use and feed into the programs that he had. I'm more interested in getting it, like I said, into a database, getting it into data tables for right now in F Sharp. If you go to the F Sharp, the data connection information on Microsoft, excuse me, MSDN for F Sharp, you're going to find that there isn't a lot of data. So to move this along and to get something that worked, what I'm going to do here is we're going to do a new project, console application, okay? And we are going to quite literally lift this information off the web, this data. Thank you, Buddy Joe. Um, and so what I had read was that F Sharp doesn't really have a main function. It reads from the top of the um, script all the way down and compiles as it goes. I found that when I copied this specific code block in without this, what looks like a main argument type structure, it caused some problems. So we're just going to open up some area here. We're going to copy it in. Okay, red lines everywhere. We know that we're working with data, so we're just going to go ahead and add system.data. Okay. And it is, so it's not import, it's not um, using, it is open system.data, and we're going to add open system.data.OLEDB. All right, so it should get rid of a bunch of things. We're obviously not going to use that connector. So we'll need this connection string. Okay. I also know that I don't have anything called last names. I have cycles. Okay, so I created a connection. I added the connection string to it and the source. I have a SQL statement here that is going to look for a table called trial data. I have an adapter. I fed a new command which has my SQL string and my connector to it. I created a new data set. Then I opened the connection. I filled my data set with, I told my data adapter to fill my data set. These are all let statements too. I'm creating a new object each time I'm doing this. I did this at work and it was a gig worth of working memory on one of the files I had. So that'd be interesting. I'm going to open it, the connection, do what I need to do, close it. Then I'm going to get down here to that fill created a table. I now want to go out and grab that table I just created. I didn't tell it a name. I didn't tell it anything. So I'm just going to grab the first table in the collection of tables in that data set. That's working with the XML information. So I need to come in here and add that reference. Right? Okay. So then I'm going to go and create a data row collection because I'm going to um, grab this table and just the first table. I'm going to grab all of its rows and I'm going to feed those rows into the row collection. I guess that's the table there. So data row collection. I'm going to count that. I'm going to print that out. Then I'm going to do something F sharpish, right? So for I in 0 to the row count minus 1, I'm going to go to row data row equals row counts column dot I. So I'm a little uh, confused on this because I saw something. I found myself running into this a lot, where I would have to go row uh, column and then something like row maybe, and use this construction, and then I, whereas setting a property. Um, Not doing that here, but those of you who understand the difference here and want to bash me on comments for that, I'd appreciate it. And then we're going to, as we cycle down through each row, we're going to look in the specific field cycles and print that out to the um, command prompt. Oh, there we go. Went by kind of quickly, but if you saw the database tables, which I don't have up right now, you would have seen that they were matched up. So despite the fact that I had trouble matching up the structure the way that I would do it in Visual Basic, here's a working bit of code that'll go to your database, grab the data, put it into a table, and of which you can iterate through that information and do something with it. So next step, of course, be grab that information, turn it into a data frame, find a way to push that data frame into R. So I hope this was helpful to you. Feel free to enlighten me on um, ways to improve this. When you do that, please remember to talk as if speaking to a small child. Um, it will it'll help me along on getting up to speed on R. Thanks for your time.